very pleased to see you all back here. Thank you for making it out tonight. We are going to talk about the rest of the mind, the big bit of the mind. Do you remember what percentage of your behavior is regulated by the conscious mind? Can anyone remember? 6, which leaves 94 for the subconscious mind. And tonight we are going to speak about the subconscious mind. But before we do, let's do a little memory test, as Sharon just said. What are the 4 pillars of success, the 4 legs of the table? Can you read that with me? Knowledge creates awareness. Awareness enables clarity. Clarity fuels action. And action will change your life. Is that starting to make sense to you all? Yes? That what you know enables you to be aware of it. If you have awareness, you can say, okay, so how does that apply to me? Which gives you clarity. Once you have clarity, you know how to act. And then it's just a matter of doing it, yes? Does that all make sense to everyone? Good. So, you all recall the story of John and Jack. And we said, so what was the difference between John and Jack, the one thriving and the other merely surviving? And we said it was what was on the inside of them and not on the outside that made the big difference. You all recall that? And then I said the things that are on the inside of us, there are 5 things, 1 for each finger. So let's do another little memory test. What are they? Number 1 was the mind. Number 2 was the body. Number 3, emotions. Number 4, spirit. Number 5, life. Yes, good job. So it is what is on the inside of us that determines most of our performance and the quality of our life. And the 5 things that are on the inside of us are your mind, your emotions, your body, your spirit, and your life. Excellent. So, how does it all fit together? Now, the reason why I'm showing you this slide again is because every week as we step through the program, we'll add something to this little diagram. And by the end of it, you'll have a big diagram and all fit together logically, okay? So we said you're a spiritual being having a human experience. You've been given a life, which is your gift. You've been given 3 tools, which are your mind, your emotions, and your body. And so we're going to speak about the mind again today, but the best part of the mind. So let's get straight into it. Remember how we said your mind? I do apologize for these slides. I don't know. The mind, that says brain, conscious mind, and subconscious mind. Okay, so we have those 3 things. The brain, the conscious mind, and subconscious mind. The conscious mind being responsible for 6% of what you do, of your behavior, and the subconscious mind for the other 94%. So let's get into why you do what you do and how your subconscious mind is actually really, really causing you to live the way you do. Okay? You all ready for that? Yeah. Excellent. So why do we need a subconscious mind in the first place? And this is a question that I pondered for quite a long time. Why do we have a subconscious mind? And the answer that I found is actually quite simple. Even if you are as smart as Einstein, do you have a limited capacity to your conscious mind, do you think? Yeah. Do you kind of feel, have you ever been in a situation where you're getting lots of stimuli coming to you, like you have the kids whinging, you have the TV blaring, or at work you have the phone ringing, the fax coming through, 10 emails coming to you. You've ever been in a situation like that? Do you feel overwhelmed when there are more than 10 things happening at the same time? Yes, that's because your conscious mind has a limited capacity. We cannot deal with everything that's going on around us with our conscious mind. So we've developed this amazing ability to deal with some stuff automatically. And that is what the subconscious mind does. And I'm going to show you tonight how what you think is you might not actually be you. It's just the way in which your subconscious mind is helping you get through the day so that your conscious mind can cope. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, fantastic. So let's just look at this. So we've got your spiritual being. I'm just redrawing got mind there, body there, emotions there, and life there. So we're dealing with the mind. We've dealt with the conscious mind, and now we're going to deal with the subconscious mind. 94% of your behavior is regulated by the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind, while keeping to the shadows, wields tremendous power, governing the way you behave on a daily basis. And I'll show you how that works right now. The first thing that you have to remember is that the subconscious mind does not actually question anything. It's not the reasoning part of your mind. You remember, reasoning was a function of the conscious mind. So it doesn't reason, it doesn't think, it's not logical, it just acts. And so it's got three functions, and that's what I'd like you all to write down. These three functions are really, really important, and they'll help you make sense of it all. So the three functions of the subconscious mind are: number one, it's your body's operating system. Who today has thought about breathing? Or who's thought, I must remember for my heart to beat? Anyone had that thought today? I must remember to make my heart beat. Or my blood to flow. Anyone had that thought? No, thank goodness no, because would we be surviving if we had to remember to breathe, the heart, the blood flow, the digestion and all of that stuff? Would we be surviving right now? No, no, we would not. And so the subconscious mind regulates all of your bodily functions automatically. Automatically meaning you don't have to remember with your conscious mind for your body to do that stuff. Does that make sense? You do not have to remember for your body, for your heart to beat, your blood to flow, your lungs to breathe, etc., etc. Now, that's kind of neat, isn't it? Because it enables us to use our conscious mind to actually think about what is coming our way, think about what's going on. But we'll touch on that a bit later. So the subconscious mind regulates the body's functioning. Secondly, and this is going to make a lot of sense to a lot of you, I think. Secondly, the subconscious mind is a huge storage vault for everything that you have ever been exposed to. Everything you've heard, everything you've seen, everything you've experienced. And even though you might have no conscious awareness of something or no memory of it, it is still with you. Every single thing that you've experienced is still with you. And as I mentioned last week, you can actually access that information through hypnosis. And some people find it helpful to do so. I don't know whether it is or isn't. I think it really depends on the individual. So everything you've heard from the moment, have you ever heard stories of people being able to go back to when they were born and remember what that's like? That's because it's all stored in the subconscious mind. And so we can go back and access different memories. Whether it's helpful or not, I don't know. But it does act as that storage vault. And number three, the most important thing that we have to know, the most important function of the subconscious mind is it regulates all of your behavior based on programs. Now this is going to really change the way you think. This information will change the way you think about your life. It'll change the way you think about yourself. It'll change the way you think about other people, and it will change the way in which you speak with others. Let me explain to you how that works. So do you see how it says it regulates your behavior based on your genes, your values, and your programs? Your genes, your values, and your programs. So who chose, does everyone know what a gene is? Yes, the genetic makeup that you have? That's the little things that you're born with. That's the stuff that makes you look the way you look and speak the way you speak and so forth, yes? So, did anyone here choose their genes? No, neither did I. You come born with your genes. They are there. They are given. They are predestined by God. We have our genes. We can't choose them. We just get them, and we have to make the best of what we've got, really. But we also, this is only a small part of what makes you, you. This is only a very small part of what makes you, you. And I'll show you what makes you, you, what the rest of that is. The rest of it is programs and values. Now, we'll speak about values a little bit more later, and I did touch on values in the first session. Do you recall when I said the aspects of your life, that wheel, is very much determined by the values you have? And we'll come back to that wheel today, and I'll talk a bit more about values then. But I want to talk to you about programs. Now, this is how programs are formed. When you are born, people start interacting with you. Yes? People start telling you things. Oh, you're a good girl. Oh, you're a good boy. Oh, you're a naughty boy. Oh, you're a horrible child. Remember how I said we don't come with manuals? Yes? And so our parents didn't get a manual on how to raise us either, and our teachers didn't get a manual, and our siblings didn't get a manual. You remember that conversation? And so other people interact with you, and because no one has a manual, they just kind of do the best they can with what they have. And unfortunately, often that doesn't work so well. So let me show you how a program is formed. Johnny is 3 years old. So picture little Johnny. He's 3 years old. He's very, very cute, but very busy and also very inquisitive, right? So he wants to do some learning, of course. And so he takes a pen and he writes on the wall. Do you think Johnny's daddy is going to say, Johnny, you're such a creative boy? No. No. Johnny's daddy is going to say, why are you always doing the wrong thing? Why are you being such a naughty, naughty child? Now that's one instance of Johnny being called naughty. Yes? And then he's going to go, okay, naughty child, naughty child. Then he'll go and do something else. He'll try something else. And so he might go get something out of the pantry. He might open the flour, and he might get flour over everything. So he's inquisitive and curious. Do you think Johnny's daddy is going to say, oh, what a curious little boy you are. Good job, good job. No. Johnny's daddy is going to say, naughty boy, Johnny. Why are you such a naughty boy? And so this keeps happening to Johnny. Everyone keeps telling him that he's naughty. And you know what happens in Johnny's mind? It says, well, I don't have to remember. I've got a limited capacity in this conscious mind. So I don't have to remember that I'm naughty anymore, because it's taking away from the capacity that I have. What I'll do is I'll just create a program down here that says, I am naughty. And you know what happens when you have a program? You always, always, always behave in a manner consistent with your programs. In the same way as you do not have to remember to make your heart beat, you do not have to remember to make your brain function, your blood flow, in that same way, you do not have to remember to act in a manner consistent with your programs. So each and every one of you have been programmed. Do you agree with that? Each and every one of you have been through stuff in your life, and people have said things to you. You've been in specific situations, and let me tell you the sad thing. So these programs are formed through continuous input through the conscious mind, but there is one exception. So Johnny had to hear he's naughty, 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 naughty quite a few times for that program to form. There is one exception though. If Johnny was incredibly emotional when he was told he's naughty, do you know how many times he needs to hear that he's naughty to form a program? Once. Once. So all of us have been through incredible emotional experiences, yes or no? and not necessarily pleasant ones, yes or no? And what happens in that instance? You make a program, you take that on, you create your identity based on a single experience that was incredibly unpleasant. And based maybe on someone's opinion who A, didn't know, B, really doesn't matter what they think anyway, and C, was probably just having a bad day. Yes? Does that make sense? Let me give you another example. So, you go to school and you're going to do maths. Who's good at maths? Excellent. You've got good programs. So, go to do math and you struggle a little bit initially, and the teacher's having a bad day and she's had to deal with lots and lots of stuff at home, and she comes in and she says, oh my goodness, you are obviously not very good with math. And you go, okay, I'm not good with math, that's okay. And you go home and you ask your dad or your mum to help you, and again you struggle a little bit, and again the same comment. You're not very good with math, are you? And so you hear that 3 or 4 or 5 times. Do you know what you think? Let me create a program. Let me remember. I don't need to remember that I'm not good with math. I'll just create a program that will automatically enable me to remember that I'm not good with maths. So every time you're confronted with maths, you're going to go, I'm not good with maths. You don't have to think about that. You know that about yourself. And so will you act? You always act in a manner consistent with your program. So will you do your best? No. Will you even have a go? Probably not. And so when you don't have a go, what do people think? Oh, she's not good with maths. And so it is a whole reinforcing thing that happens that reinforces all of these bad programs in you. And so a lot of what you think you are today is purely your programming. A lot of what you think you are today is based on some of the really bad experiences that you have when you were in a really heightened emotional state, and someone said one thing to you, like, oh, you are a terrible person, or oh, you are so irritating, or anything that people say to each other, and you know what? That program gets formed instantly. Instantly. And from that day onwards, you will always act in a manner consistent with your programs. And as you do, that becomes you. People know you as irritating or annoying or bad at maths or stupid. Tell you what, I taught a class probably about 3 years ago, and there was a girl in that class, and when I explained this to them, she said, my daddy always used to tell me I'm a bit ditzy. And so today, do you know what she is? A bit ditzy. Do you know how people respond to her? As if she's a bit ditzy. Is it working for her? No, it's ruining her life. But her dad probably didn't mean any harm to her. It was just, he didn't understand what he was doing. And so the same is true for all of you. Now, we have 3 kinds of programs, and you have to write this down. These are very technical terms. The first one is good programs. Second one, okay programs. And the third, bad programs. So I've given you all the examples of all the bad programs, but you also have good programs running. You also have programs that might say, do you know what, I am good with math, or I am confident, or I am happy. I'm a happy person. Anyone have that program running, I'm a happy person? Yes. And so do you act happy? Yes. And do you bring happiness to wherever you go? Yes, because you're a happy person. So we have 3 kinds of programs, good, okay, and bad. Now you are very lucky because I've learned from my own mistakes. So when I started teaching this stuff, I used to say to my clients, okay, so now you know how your programming works. It's wonderful because as an adult, you have the responsibility and ability to take control of your programs. And that is true. That's true now, and it's true for you all. We have a responsibility and an ability to take control of our programs. We no longer need to rely on other people, parents, siblings, aunts, teachers, friends, to program us. So we're going to program ourselves. But this is the bit that I've changed, okay? So what I used to say to my clients is this incredibly difficult challenge of, okay, client, you need to do your homework over the next week is to go and uncover your own bad programs. Do you think that's possible? No, it's not. It's not possible. So after a few times of giving my clients this homework and they come back and they just go, do you know, I just don't know. I just don't know. Why? Because it's subconscious. You have no conscious awareness of it. And when you're in a situation, you just act automatically. When you're in a situation where you have to do math, your math program runs and either yes, you're good at it or you're not. And you don't have that conscious awareness that that's a program pushing you into that kind of behavior. Does that make sense? Okay, so I've stopped asking people to uncover their bad programs. However, what I have found is because you'll now have awareness of them, you will start over time to see patterns of bad programs that you have. And you'll uncover them, and every time you do, you'll go, wow, there's a bad program. I had one client, I'll tell you about him. He is an engineer. And he would do well, get to a certain level, and then he would do something completely out of character that'll put him back several steps. Then we'll go again. He's doing well, servicing his clients well, engaging with his team well, and he'll get to a certain point. And every time the same point. He gets there, do you know what happens? He'll do something again. And as his coach, it was so frustrating for me because I just could not understand what was going on. And we'll go back to square one and we'll start again. And so one day, he came to coaching saying, I have uncovered a bad program. And I said, that's fantastic, what is it? And he said, my program is success is bad. Success is wrong. And then because he had that awareness, he said, that's what my dad always used to say. Those other people, those rich people, those successful people, they are bad people. Anyone grew up in a house like that? Those bad people, the successful people. So he could not allow himself to become successful. Why? Because it would be inconsistent with his program. Does that make sense? Did he have any awareness of it? No, absolutely no awareness whatsoever until we were talking about what was going on, until we were starting to see this pattern repeat over and over again. And so he reprogrammed his subconscious mind and he overcame that barrier and he now is very, very successful. So, who wants to know how to reprogram your subconscious mind? Would that be helpful, do you think? A little bit helpful? Excellent. Well, I'll show you. Let's just catch up with the PowerPoint first. So, your subconscious mind contains all the programs. I'll just quickly make this note. Some people speak about beliefs, good beliefs and limiting beliefs. For me, it's not, and they're kind of the same as programs. So for me, programs just is a much easier way to understand how it kicks in the same way as a computer program will. You click on Word and the program just kicks in and automatically there you go off to Word. And it's that same program that just kicks in automatically every time you're confronted with a specific situation that regulates your behavior. Does that make sense? Okay, we've spoken about nature versus nurture. Nature being your genetic makeup and nurture being the stuff that creates your program. So all of your experiences, everything that's ever been said to you, they create programs for you. And that's the nurture part. So a portion of who you are and how you behave is due to your genetic predisposition. And then a large portion of who you are and how you behave is due to your programs. And these programs contribute significantly to who you are today, and we've spoken about that. How are your programs created? Through input into your conscious mind. I just want to make this point again. If you are in a highly emotional state, either in a very good, very happy state, or a very, very sad or upset state, programs are created instantly. They're formed instantly, okay? So we'll use that to our advantage, because we know that we'll use that to our advantage in creating our own programs. So are you your programs? Guys, are you your programs? No. You are not your programs. Who's responsible for everything that you've been programmed to this moment? Do you know who's responsible? Other people, yes? Would you agree with that? Other people, people around you, well-meaning and not so well-meaning people are responsible for your programs. Do you know what I want to say to you today? I want you to draw a line in the sand and say, no longer will I allow other people to program me. No more. Who's going to program you now? You are, yes? You are. You have the ability to take over your programming. And is that going to be beneficial for you? Yes, because will you program good programs, bad programs, or okay programs? Good ones, yes. To live an extraordinary life, you need good programs, because you need to be able to behave well automatically. You agree with that? Excellent. So take control of your mind and you will take control of your life. Now, the secret to reprogramming your subconscious mind. And you need to write these 3 steps down, because it's your homework. How lucky are you? You are going to reprogram or start the process of reprogramming your own subconscious mind so that you can live an extraordinary life. And so, step 1 is not, as I used to teach, go and uncover all your bad programs. No. Step 1 is define all the good programs that you want to live your very best and extraordinary life. Now, I'll give you an example of a great program. A great program is, I am happy. I'm happy. I'm a happy person. I am confident. I am intelligent. I am a good leader. I am in control. Are those good or bad programs? Good programs. I am loving. I am kind. I'm accepting of others. I'm easy to get along with. All of those are good programs. But it's up to you to define the programs that work for you. It's up to you to define the programs that you want to have in your subconscious mind. So that's step number 1. So I'll read that out to you just because some of the words are not so clear. So step 1, define the good programs that will allow you to be your best and live extraordinarily. Create a list of all the attributes you want to have and all the programs and beliefs that will ensure your success. What do you need to do? You need to create the programs that will make you the best you, live extraordinarily and be successful. Yes? So a list and of attributes. Now, step 2. Input these new programs into your conscious mind repeatedly, listening to, writing and visualizing these new programs. Okay, so let me explain that to you just a little bit more. In the same way as your programs were created initially, that's the same process that we're going to use to program our subconscious minds. So exactly the same process. Input into the conscious mind over and over again. I am smart, I am smart, I'm smart, I'm smart, I'm smart, I'm smart, I'm smart, I'm smart. I remember I am smart. Am I going to act consistent with my program? Oh yes. And if someone asks me something that I don't know, what will I say? Oh, I'm not smart, sorry, I don't know. No. I'm going to say, do you know what, that's a really good question, I'll find out for you. Yes? So, and is that a smart answer? Yes. Does it mean I know everything? No. It just means that I'm acting like a smart person. Step 3. Incorporate this process into your daily routine and be disciplined about reprogramming your subconscious mind. Guys, let me state this very, very, very clearly. Out of everything that I'm going to teach you, this is the most important. You do this and your life will change completely. I guarantee that. You do this process and your life will never ever be the same. You have to commit to taking the action though. You have to commit to incorporating this into your daily routine, to making it part of what you do every day, and your life will be different. Okay, yippee. Now, personal power statements. That's what we're going to make. That's what we're going to create. We're going to use these personal power statements to reprogram our subconscious minds. Now, the worst thing in the world that you can do is to engage in this program and create bad programs. Yes, would that be terrible? For you to do everything that I tell you to do and then inadvertently create bad programs for yourself. That would be a tragedy. So I want to ensure that that doesn't happen, so I'm going to give you very clear instruction on what to do. Is that okay? Excellent. Now, you must state your defined programs in the first person, present tense, and you must keep them positive. So, your personal power statements will typically start with I am, or I have, or I achieve, or I do, but my preference is I am. If you have personal power statements that contain the words not, don't, can't, you're in trouble. You're very, 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 very close to creating bad programs. So please avoid statements containing the word not, don't, can't. The words not, don't, and can't. Unfortunately, the English language provides many traps for us to use the words not, don't, and can't, but we'll speak about those in a sec. So, 3 things. It must be first person, I. Secondly, present tense, am, or do, or have, or achieve. And thirdly, something positive, not, I am not stupid. Is that a good program? No, that's a terrible program, okay? I am smart is a much better one, okay? I am, here's one. Here's a very, very, very tricky one. I don't care what other people think about me. Do you think that's a good or a bad program? That is a bad program. You say that over and over to yourself, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to become paranoid about what other people think. So avoid the words not, don't, and can't. What you should have is examples of the following. I am kind. I am loving. I am confident. I am happy. I feel good about myself. Or I feel terrific. I am successful. I am energetic. I am healthy. And so forth, and so forth, and so forth. I want to give you guys the opportunity to create your own power statements. But what I will do in a couple of weeks is bring in a list of universal power statements that work really well. But I didn't want to just give you the answer today, because you have to define who you want to be, right? You have to define the life that you want to live. We're all unique and different. And what works for me might not work for you. It might not be what you want. Does that make sense? Excellent. So the second step is to input it into the conscious mind in the same way as your programs were created in the first place. Right, so then we're going to input them into our conscious mind. And you can use any one of those 5 methods. If you use them all, it'll happen quicker for you. So number 1, say them out loud. And I'll give you a little secret. If you say them out loud while you are doing physical exercise, it works even better. So you can be walking or you can be exercising with weights. But if you say, for example, I have little dumbbells, I do my exercise every day, I am confident, I am confident, I am confident. That works really, really well. Secondly, write them down repeatedly. You know when you sit and you doodle on a piece of paper? Start to cultivate the habit of writing your power statements. I'm confident, I'm kind, I am loving, I am generous, I am successful, I am wealthy. Third thing that you can do and should do is to visualize. Use your imagination is also visualize. Remember how we spoke about imagination last week? How we said your body cannot distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. So if you sit down and you imagine yourself as being extremely wealthy, is that going to make you feel good? Yes? Is that going to start reprogramming your subconscious mind? Yes. So if being wealthy is really important to you, it's a good place to start. Visualize. Number 4, I would recommend really, really highly. Create a CD. Speak into your computer. Most computers today have the ability where you just speak into your computer, you create a CD, you pop that in on your way to work. Every morning you're doing your personal power statements, and it's not taking a minute more than you would normally for your morning routine. Yes? It works. This one works so well. The only thing that you have to do, commit to, is actually creating the CD. So you have to write out your list, speak it into your computer once, and just listen to it every day. And within weeks, your life will be different. Within weeks, you'll start acting completely differently. You'll start behaving in a different manner. People will respond to you differently, and things will just start to change amazingly for you. Okay? So the CD is highly recommended. And then remember how I said, if you generate strong emotions, that program is created instantly. And so now that you're programming yourself, you need to create and generate those strong emotions for you. So get a feeling of being excited. Listen to great music. It makes you feel really good. And then do your affirmations, your personal power statements. And your programs will create really quickly. Will be formed really quickly. Does that make sense? Are you starting to feel excited? This is going to honestly change everything for you guys. Now, what happens to your existing programs? So what happens when you used to have a program that says, I am not smart, I'm stupid, and now you're creating a program that says I'm smart. What happens if you don't use something? You lose it. Yes. You don't use it, you lose it. Good thing in this instance. A good thing in this instance. So you'll start relying on your new program because you won't be using your old ones. So you can literally replace them. That's excellent. You don't have to live in bondage to what was said to you when you were a child, or your experiences you had at school, or how things went wrong for you in your early 20s. You do not have to live in bondage of any of that. You can start and create programs that works for you. You can become the person that you want to be. You can become powerful and extraordinary and successful and live the life that you want to live. And you can take control of that for you. And you should. Yes? You absolutely should. So, as my example with my previous client, what do you do when you do uncover a bad program? When you do realize that you think that success is bad, or that you think that you are fat, for example, or any of those bad programs. What do you do when you uncover a bad program? You do the process. Yes, you define a good one. You input it into your conscious mind either by saying it out loud, writing it down, putting it on a CD, visualizing it as true, generating emotions. You do either of those and you just replace your bad program. It's pretty easy. And you know what? Probably for the rest of our lives we will still be uncovering bad programs because they might be so deep-seated and they're so subconscious that you just don't have any awareness of them. Also, it's really good to ask other people. Like, is there something that I do repeatedly that I might even not even be aware of? Ask someone you trust. Ask someone that loves you whether you have something, a habit, or something that really isn't working for you, isn't working in a relationship. And reprogram that subconscious program, because you can. Okay, so remember this wheel? We spoke about it in week 1, yes? And we said in the very middle there is your values and your programs. And I used the example of my client who really, really valued wealth, really valued personal development, his career, but not his health. And also, he had this bad program running that I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be fat. Do you know what happened to him? Yeah. Let's say he was somewhat overweight. And so I want you to go back to this exercise and think about your wheel again. And think about the programs that you have. Think about how your wheel is structured. And go and look for clues for programs that you can reprogram. I want to end tonight by looking at how your programs and your subconscious programming will influence your health and weight. This is very common for people to say that to themselves. I am fat, or I don't want to be fat. I hate exercise. I'm weak. I'm always sick. I'm tired. Who has that voice saying, I'm so tired? Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Can't do this. I'm so tired. And do you know what? How will you act? How will you feel? Tired and run down and sick and overweight. And that's not part of an extraordinary life. What is part of an extraordinary life is to be healthy and to have energy and to engage in life. Yes? To feel terrific. That's a good affirmation, good personal power statement. I feel terrific. I feel terrific. I am energetic. I am healthy. I am strong. I am well. We always speak about this in our house. When you start to feel like you're coming down with something, and the first thing you say is, oh, I don't want to be sick. Oh, can't afford to be sick. Not a good thing to say, is it? Much better to say, I want to stay healthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. And to fight that something with health in your mind. Focus on health. So really what you need to do is remember, keep it positive, keep it in the present tense, keep it personal, and look for programs that are creating a life that's not really worth living, creating a life that you don't deserve. Does that make sense? So, what's your homework, everybody? Personal power statements. 1 or 2 or 3? Many. I want many. I want pages and pages and pages of personal power statements. I used to have lots and lots of pages. I used to have folders like that full of them. I want to see lots and lots of personal power statements. I want you to put them into your folder. I want you to create your CDs. A prize for the person who brings their CD in next week. Yes? I want to see CDs. I want to hear strong personal power statements. And thank you, and see you next week.